Hello, this is Old Electronics Fan, and I'm starting off with some still pictures of my speaker. I started playing with the speaker, and I decided that, I should take some pictures of this before I get into this too far. Probably should have recorded something at that point, but I didn't. So this first picture shows you with, well, I'd started taking the packing tape off of the speaker, and you can still see the tape that's remaining. And you can see the nasty adhesive that it left behind on the speaker cone, the parts that I've removed already. And then, then the next one, the next picture, um, shows you how bad the backside of this speaker was. I couldn't see that until I actually took the cone out of the speaker. And you can see a piece of white paper there because I started repairing this using copy paper, the standard copy paper, and um, I quickly realized that that was not going to work. The paper of this cone is very stiff, very thick, and once you wet copy paper, it doesn't have a lot of strength, and it doesn't allow you to shape the cone the way you want to. And I decided to leave the repair I'd already made alone because I was afraid that, number one, I wasn't going to be able to straighten it out if I tried to do anything to it. And I didn't want to do any harm to the speaker cone, so I left it as was. But going forward, I started using heavy round wrapping paper that you use for wrapping packages, and that worked much better. And then the next picture that I'm showing you is showing you the hole right through the speaker and the tear that goes right down into the surround of the speaker. So the speaker was not in very good shape when I started out. And then next you'll see some of the actual video that I did in the process of repairing the speaker and getting it to, working once more. Okay, I've gotten the tape off, and I'm really wishing they hadn't done what they did. This was not fun. I had to be very careful to not further rip this. But one of the things I've noticed is that if I get my brush here, some areas it's actually, I don't know if you can see, let's try it this way. All right, you still can't see. There's there's an overlap where it actually tore at an angle. So what I'm going to try to do, you see I have my brush right here ready to go. What I'm going to try to do is feed some glue up inside this part and try to get that much secured. And once I'm sure of that, then work my way down the rest of the way. Over here, I got it all done. I was pretty happy with it. Then I noticed there was a hole right in here. And I know I probably could have gotten away without it, but it's air through, which speakers aren't supposed to allow to do. Plus, it could be a weak area where it could start trying to tear again. I said, well, I'll just throw a quick little patch on there. I use this to do it because it conforms better. This stuff is stiff enough that it wouldn't conform, which is why I did this right here. I didn't want the two to overlap each other and then not be able to get this position the way I want it, to have it actually seal or glue tightly to the tear. So anyway, it's not going to look real wonderful, but it is what it is. And so just thinking that it's trying to lift up on me. Anyway, so I will be checking back in, and I will let you know, or will let you see my progress at that point. Should be interesting. This is turning out to be pretty challenging. I was able to glue this part back together because it was overlapping. I tried to do that down here. Whoops. Tried to do that down here, but then discovered that this wouldn't line up. Thankfully, I checked that before it dried, which was good. So what I'm planning on doing is this. I'm going to glue this piece down, right out there, bring this piece down, but I'm only going to glue the section here for this part. That way, when I get this part solid and lined up, then I can work on getting this into place. Whoops, sorry. I can work on getting this into place. And then I can work on that part right there, which is not very obvious. So I would have loved to do this more in one piece, but the problem is this basket isn't solid, and the break between the metal pieces comes right around in here. Like it's right there, right where the rip is, of course. So if I don't get this lined up first, then when I try to do the rest of it, this part moves around and shifts it, and it's just not going to work. Because of this tear, or this gap right here, I have no choice. I have to get this in place first. I have to get it lined up. I have to get it glued down. And then I can work on the rest of it. And once I do that, then this should be stable, I hope. And, well, we'll see. Okay. After examining this, thinking about it, I actually tried a smaller piece of repair material and realized that was a bad idea. And I also figured, because this is so badly torn up, having this whole area protected by new material made most sense. So I was pretty successful in keeping this somewhat together. Not perfect, but hey, it works. So next thing is I got to get this stuff. Alright, so this stuff all has to be glued down, and I still have this tear here to fix. But I think this is just shredded. Having this glued, just laying against the repair material, will make this much better. Of course, there's holes in it anyway. Trying to get it lined up properly is not going to be possible, because this piece right here got wrinkled and crunched. It didn't help that somebody taped it together. Maybe they did it then, I don't know. But in any event, I gotta glue these guys down, and then I'll tackle this part right here. And I think it's done. And now I'll be able to put it back together, and we'll see what we got. This is the completed speaker. I know it's probably a bit anal putting black paint on it. Definitely not an attempt to make it look pretty. As you can see, there's no way that's going to happen. But I thought, well, you know, that lighter colored material might show through the grill cloth. Who knows? Like I said, it's probably just being anal. But anyway, there was one last thing I did that I didn't mention before. I had tears in the edge of the speaker, the surround, if you want to call it, I guess is what it's called. So this is a great use for old pieces of t-shirt and contact cement. I did it that way because I wanted to stay flexible, and I figured contact cement on cloth would work better than paper. I don't like it when, I really don't think it's a good idea, especially since it's supposed to be flexible, to take something with a hard glue and glue it across the edge of your speaker, because then it's not going to move as well as the rest of the surround. I suppose it could cause it to tear. I guess I'm not willing to find out if it will. So I'm hoping that the t-shirt plus the contact cement will prevent it from tearing any further, although that one pretty much made it all the way to the edge. This one stopped a little short of the edge, but I thought, well, keep it from doing anything more. Plus, my understanding is the Yeah, I know my camera work stinks. Bear with me. I'm still new to this. Technically, the speaker should have no holes in it so that the air doesn't go through the speaker, because that can affect the sound. Now, granted, this is not going to be a hi-fi speaker. It's using this for a radio on AM only. It'll never be hi-fi. But, you know, hey, since I know that the speaker is supposed to be without leaks, I thought I'd make sure that it is indeed without leaks. And so the next step is to assemble it into that and see what I've got. Hopefully it doesn't rattle and bang and do bad things, because I have every confidence that this work I did probably shaped the cone a little bit differently than it was. However, you saw what the cone, well, yeah, you saw what the cone was like before, and it was not good. It did rattle, and this part probably, what was probably this area, plus all the tape that was coming off, and it was fluttering in the wind. I was not impressed with the previous repair, I must say. The tape solution, you saw what it was like underneath. This whole section was just lifted and waving in the breeze. And, yeah, it wasn't good. Now, I don't know if anybody would ask, why didn't I use contact cement for these repairs instead of Elmer's glue? Simple. This is the first time I've done it. Contact cement is great, but if you follow their instructions, you let it become tacky, the minute you put things together, it is there. And working on this and trying to do things like get this part as close as possible together. Yeah, and over here, trying to get that as close together as I possibly could. It didn't really make sense to use contact cement for that. I like the ability to move things if I have to, and if I got it really screwed up, if you don't wait too long with Elmer's glue, you can peel it off and start over. Contact cement, not so much. So, the next part of this is going to be, hopefully, an assembled and working speaker. See you then. Well, I couldn't help myself. The idea of my patches peeking through the back of the speaker caused me to do this. Yeah, I know it's not black. This is what I had. But I think it will do fine, because all I really want is for it to not be real obvious that the thing has been so extensively patched with white pieces gleaming out at it. And some of them were like this. So this is ready to go in. One of the things that you might want to pay attention to when you do these, maybe this is obvious. Let's see here. Okay. When you're putting this in, you will notice on this there's a nut that doesn't really seem to do much of anything. Well, it does. The idea behind this is that if you don't have this screw, or this nut rather, not sure why it's being a little annoying. When you tighten the screw up, there it goes. When you tighten the screw up, the screw is going to want to torque the spider and put torque on the voice or the speaker cone and on the surround, which is, you really don't want that to happen. So you put a wrench on this as you're tightening that screw, and that will prevent that from happening. At first I was a little puzzled when I was taking this off, because this was stuck. Oh, I gotta loosen this up, unthread it from the center cord. So I tweaked on it and it popped off. Said, oh, that's fun. Why is it doing that? It didn't take too much thought to figure out why they did it and why it was stuck, because this material, of course, is 89 years old. It's been under compression all this time, and whatever they made the material out of, the nut had bonded to. So if you're playing with one of these, you probably could leave the nut on there. If I had realized, well, the other problem is that this didn't want to come loose, and it was really stuck. So when I yanked on that nut, it actually popped it loose from here. There's a washer there, and apparently it was stuck to that. So when I cranked on the nut, it broke it from loose here, and it broke it loose there. So I guess I made out. So my next step is to assemble it, and hopefully it all works well. Okay, I decided I want to show you what this looks like from the backside altogether. And if I can get, this is a Type N radio speaker, an Atwater Kent. And I believe this is the audio output transformer. This is, of course, a field coil speaker. That's this monster field coil. And you know, I painted the backside of the speaker, and you know, I think doing this without actually being able to see what I'm aiming at. Let's see, there we go. I'm kind of surprised and pleased with how it actually turned out. Certainly from a distance you're not going to notice that there are a bunch of patches on here, which is what I was kind of aiming for. This thing is just amazing. You get this massive plug, or this big plug in this thick cord. How things have changed. So that's what it looks like from the back side. Here it is, all assembled, and my finger out of the camera. Okay, trying to avoid getting hit with a copyright strike. But that's it. No more rattles, not rubbing. Everything works the way I was hoping it would. So I consider this to be a successful repair. So, thank you for watching.